Hello everyone, it's Mark Shalero, the owner of MS Classic Cars, and I'm coming right back at you with yet another spectacular vehicle. Today, I'm sitting behind the wheel of an absolutely gorgeous 1970 Ford Mustang Boss 302 that I believe is one of the best. You've got to check this out. To start off this video here, this is non-rehearsed. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of information that I do forget throughout this presentation, so I would ask that you please visit our website at msclassiccars.com for a complete description with a ton of highly detailed photos. If you have or have not been following MS Classic Cars, please note I only collect number 1 and number 2 condition vehicles. We've been doing that since inception. I'm very proud to say that we're the only classic car dealership in the country that services everything that we sell. We document that work with an invoice. We also detail our vehicles to the highest level, starting with the undercarriages, working our way right to the top. So please do your homework on MS Classic Cars. Check us out. Again, you can check out our sold page. You can check out previous YouTube videos, and you'll get to see what we do and exactly how we do it. To start off this presentation here, I'm obviously very excited to present this car to you today. This is a long paragraph that actually I composed, tried to put as much information as I could in here, a little bit of history, a little bit of information about the car, the owner, and then some of the details, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and read this. I will stop as I'm reading it just to kind of touch base on certain things, and then we'll conclude with me starting the vehicle and let you listen how beautiful she runs. So one of only 7,014 Boss 302s were built in 1970. This outstanding 1970 Ford Mustang Boss 302 is an outstanding example of an iconic muscle car. This car checks all the boxes for the true aficionado. I have been a member of the MCA, Mustang Club of America, for many years. I would say that MS Classic Cars specializes in Mustangs of all generations, and we've owned some very, very special Mustang Boss 302s. I will tell you, in 2022, January, we actually had the car that won the Boss Nationals in 2021, which is a huge accomplishment. So again, my opinion of a car is very, very valuable. This particular car here is listed in the 1969 and 1970 Boss 302 registry. It's actually right here. This is the book and all the information. You can see this within our photo gallery. Really cool bit of information there. As the Marti Auto Works report and the original Ford Invoice, which is better known as the Lois Eminger Report, documents, this car was ordered with a Calypso Coral exterior and black Rhino Corinthian vinyl bucket seat interior. So before I get into some of the options on the car, this is the brand new binder that I have supplied for this vehicle. We do this with every car that we sell. What I do is I take all the information that I gather from every car, I put it in methodical order in these plastic sleeves so the new owner has nothing to organize, nothing to go through. Everything is fresh and ready to show. So this here is the Marti Auto Works report. This is gold in the Ford world because what it does is it really tells what the car was. It tells a lot of its history and so forth. Again, we have a picture of this within our photo gallery. So this is what it looks like. They refer to this as the deluxe report. The Ford Invoice is actually this piece here. Again, this is actually in the photo gallery, so you can check that out. This is the original Ford Invoice, okay? Really cool to have that documentation that, again, follows the car. So this vehicle here was ordered with the following options. Rear deck spoiler. It has the F60x15 belted tires with raised white letters, tachometer, AM radio, power steering, 4-speed wide ratio manual transmission, and traction-Lok differential. Only 866 examples were painted Calypso Coral. This is one of the most desirable colors in a Boss 302 Mustang. This car was born this color and it looks absolutely gorgeous. Again, one of only 866 makes it very, very desirable and collectible. This car was built at Metuchen on June 26, 1970. The order type was labeled as a sales vehicle for the Ford Motor Company Buffalo District Sales Office. It was shipped to Colonial Ford located in Tonawanda, New York, where the employee took delivery of his personal vehicle on August 17, 1970. So very cool. On the Marti report, it shows sales vehicle. So this particular gentleman worked for Ford. When you would get an employee purchase, of course, they had to ship it somewhere, have the dealership prep the vehicle, have them clean it, have the salespeople do the paperwork and so forth. And that's exactly what he did. So this one has kind of a cool story, but it gets even cooler. This car basically was with that Ford employee for many years. Matter of fact, he had it, for roughly about 6 years or so. He left the Ford Motor Company and started working for a local Toyota dealership where Gary, this gentleman who actually lived in Smithtown, New York, saw the car. So Gary actually would be driving by as a young man. He would see this car parked at the Toyota dealership. I'm sure it stuck out like a sore thumb simply because of its gorgeous color in the middle of a parking lot. He would literally drool as he would be driving by. And then one day he actually saw it outside in the parking lot with a for sale sign in the car. He immediately pulled into the parking lot, met with the original owner, and was able to strike a deal and purchase the car. So it's got that really cool story that follows it. That was in 1976. So at the time Gary put the car in storage because he was going to college, at the time his friend was working at Smithtown Ford and offered him parts at cost. Gary knew that he'd be keeping this car for a very long time, so he bought everything that he could. This is true information. We have photos that document some of these things that I'm referencing. So when I say bought everything he could, he actually went to the dealership and he started buying NOS parts, OEM parts for the car, knowing that at one day he'd be doing a restoration. It's truly crazy. I was actually born in 1975. The fact that he bought this car in 1976 and had it all these years is truly amazing. So what he did is in the late 1990s, Gary decided to do a high quality and very correct restoration. So what you see here today is a product of that restoration. The car retains all of its original sheet metal with only one exception, and that was an OEM, original equipment from the manufacturer, shaker hood. It's the only thing that this car was not born with, was the shaker hood. He went out and bought, again, an OEM hood with the shaker setup, which is a really cool option. The body panel fitment is excellent and extremely straight. The car, again, was refinished in its original color of Calypso Coral paint. The paintwork is incredible and was recently detailed to a brilliant shine. This is a very, very high quality paint job, and the guys in the detail room did an amazing job on it. It looks absolutely stunning. It truly looks like it was painted yesterday. And as I just said, the body is super straight and it's got super gap lines throughout. Every piece of glass that he put back in this car was NOS that he had bought. Again, we have pictures with him with cardboard around the glass and everything else. And the other ones that weren't new in the box, he bought, direct new Carlite glass. So all the glass is brand new and it's all correct and so forth. When we get into some of the other pieces of NOS and original equipment, we're talking about things like the antenna, the windshield wiper arms, the side vent window trim, the hood trim, the grill center emblem, the front spoiler, the door handles, the bumpers, the directional single assemblies, the trunk letters, the gas cap, the reverse lights, even the wheels were NOS. For somebody to find wheels that are on this car in this condition out of a box is truly unheard of. Again, I've been doing this a long time, and this car has a very special story with some really cool things to discuss here. That would be an example of one of them. The car does sit on the correct Goodyear Polyglas F60x15 raised white letter tires. The gorgeous interior was also refinished in its original color. Again, when you see the pictures of this car in our photo gallery, I truly can tell you it's like sitting in a brand new car. He did an amazing job with the headliner, the sun visors. It even has this starting instructions that Ford would have put on the visor on the driver's side. The dashboard's in beautiful shape. All of the simulated wood is perfect. All the gauges are like new. The steering wheel, the door panels, the seats, the carpeting. I mean, it just goes on and on. Again, beautiful job. The beautiful painted trunk compartment is equipped with the factory-style trunk mat, spare tire, tools, and inflator. You can see all that again within our photo gallery. Here's where it gets really amazing. The engine compartment in this car, I will go on record and say it's got to be in the top 25 of all the vehicles that we've ever owned at MS Classic Cars, and that is a very bold statement considering that we have almost 800 vehicles to reference on our sold page, and we've had some of the best cars in the world that we're very proud of. There's something about this engine compartment that just is perfection. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. I'm kind of lost for words. But it is powered by its original matching numbers 302 4-valve Boss V8 that was completely rebuilt, and it runs absolutely beautiful. The engine was factory rated with 290 horsepower, 290 foot-pounds of torque. We know that those numbers were made lower than what they actually were from the factory for insurance purposes, but that's what the factory rated it at. The original water pump and alternator were rebuilt. The distributor cap is an original Autolite NOS part, and it's equipped with an Autolite Group 24 battery. The engine is coupled to the original matching numbers 4-speed wide ratio manual transmission in the original traction-Lok rear axle with 3.50 gears. So this car has its original sheet metal, its original color, exterior, interior, original motor, original transmission, original rear end. Again, it checks all the boxes as I mentioned earlier in the description. The undercarriage, this is really the cherry on the top. When you see the undercarriage of this car, it is absolutely gorgeous. I really can't say enough. He refinished it in all of its correct red oxide paint that you would have seen done at the factory. Again, everything was chalked and marked and stenciled. It's got all of its stickers, just like the engine bay does. It's truly an amazing deal. The car is a multiple award winner and was most recently selected for Best of Show by John Clor from Ford Motor Company's Performance Division. It was also selected by Ford Motor Company and photographed by Dan Lyons for the official Mustang Calendar. I want to make a note that none of those awards are included. That was all stuff that Gary wanted to hold on to for sentimental reasons. So none of those awards were from like a judged MCA show or something like that. So it wasn't really necessary. They were just more bigger shows that he had, you know, been the star of and so forth. And again, some of that stuff he kept for his own sake of being sentimental and so forth. You can only imagine owning a car for as long as what he did. So he was the proud owner of the car up until I purchased it in 2022. So he owned it for 46 years. Absolutely amazing. Gary has served as a Concours Judge in the Boss 302 class at several Shelby American Car Club conventions. There's other documentation that's included, such as the original owner's manual. We have a letter from Lois Eminger from the Ford Invoice kind of deal there, which I'll show you in a minute. We have receipts from the mid-90s on the car. We have New York registrations that are ranging from 1979 to 2022. We have tons of original marketing material. We just have a lot of things that go with this that I was able to actually fit into this binder. And again, you can see all of these items on our website sold page. So once again, we got all the registrations. We got the owner's manual. He's even got a little matchbook down here that says 1970 Ford. It's the going thing, which is kind of cool. You can see that in the photo gallery. Again, this is the letter that she actually wrote, Lois wrote to Gary when he was ordering the Ford Invoice, which is actually dated September 30th of 1990. This is really cool. Of all the Mustangs I've ever owned with the original Ford Invoice, I've never actually seen a letter from Lois, so that's pretty cool. Lois, and then when you flip through here, these are all those receipts that I was mentioning. This is some of the marketing material I was mentioning, like this is one of the original Ford 1970 dealership brochures. This is the 70 Mustang brochure. This is from Buyer's Digest, from cars from the 1970s. And then again, when you scroll toward the back here, you just get into more marketing material. He saved various articles from 1970 that were written about the car and, you know, so forth. So this is just all real cool information here that I've included. I've organized it all. And then in the back of here, we have some extra stickers for the car in case somebody needs to replace those down the road. So once again, I have to go on record and say, I believe this to be one of the best Boss 302s in the country. It has an amazing story. It checks all the boxes, and some lucky new owner is going to be able to call it theirs. Again, super special. So I'd like to conclude by telling you, if you have interest in MS Classic Cars, please sign up for our VIP email blast. That is the best way to follow us. We are also on all the social media networks, so please check us out there as well. I'll say it over and over again that we are not a huge company, but we are doing huge things. So thanks again for watching this. I really appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and start it, let you listen how beautiful it runs. I will tell you this is not a cold start. I did just bring it outside. Literally after a week of sitting, I turned the key. It just fired up instantly outside. It was idling really nice. I didn't even have to really babysit it more than just a couple of seconds. And it was idling, I probably would say maybe a minute or two at most. And then we just backed it into the showroom. So you'll see how really nice it runs here. And I'll give it a few revs for you. There it is. Can't make that up. It runs absolutely beautiful. We appreciate you watching this video. Rock and roll.